Hi everyone! Welcome. I'm so sorry we were having a little bit of a technical glitch and which is why we started late. But then, as you know, they say better late than never, right? So, big welcome to all of you. And first of all, I always ask this. Am I audible? Am I visible? Please give me a thumbs up if I'm audible and visible. Come on, thumbs up. Yes, Abhishek says, ma'am, you're clearly visible and audible. Hi Harshit, hi Sajan, hi Ananya, hi Disha, again, nice. Hi Gautam, hi Shashireka, hi Ritanya, hi Pramod, hi Ayush, hi Diptika. So nice to see all of you here today. I'm really excited to be here with you. And you know what? It's especially exciting because summer is here. Summer has started. Isn't that fun? What does summer mean? Summer to me means lots of time in the swimming pool. Summer to me means mangoes. What does summer to you mean? Summer to me means lots of masti with my friends. What does summer mean to you? Come on. I want to know what summer means to you. Hello. Hi, English, Abacus General Knowledge. Yes, Harshit says the beach. Absolutely right. Hi, Satya. Come on. What else does summer mean to you? Yes, Akshaya says fun, holidays, mango. Very nice. Vacation, Nagendra says. Dipti says very hot days. Yes, actually, that's the part that I also find difficult. But you know what? Apart from all these other lovely things about summer, I remember that when I was your age, when I was in school, the best thing that I used to look forward to every summer was the summer camp that my parents used to put me in for, okay? So I used to wait for summer camp. It was always very exciting. So sometimes I would go for one sort of summer camp, theater, painting, dancing. But I want to ask you, okay? I even went to a math summer camp once, okay, to make my math a little bit better. So I want to know from all of you, what is the point of summer camp? I mean, why do our parents tell us summer camp is very important, you should go for summer camp? Why? What is so important about summer camp? What do you think? Shraddha says ice cream, adventurous. Summer means IPL every evening. Very nice. Hi Papi, of course I remember you. Okay, come on. What does summer camp mean to you? What is the point of attending summer camp? Come on, tell me. Yes, I see over there learning or implementing our own skills. That's absolutely right. Ujjwal says to learn new things. Absolutely right. Yashika says learning new things, developing new skills. Very nice. For learning skills that would later help us. Absolutely right. So you see what your answers have given me over here, that all of your answers have included one word, which is learning. Learning is so very important, right? In fact, at Byju's, we always say, come fall in love with learning. So, since learning is so important, since learning skills is important, and these skills are going to help us later, well, Byju's has brought you this summer goodness in terms of summer camp over here. Hello everyone, my name is Tarana and I am going to be taking your Level Up series for summer camp. Now, the goal, the focus of the Level Up series is skill enhancement. Right? So what we're going to do in these sessions is that we are going to improve our skills, right? So today, considering that summer camp is all about improving our skills and learning, I am going to be taking a very special session. As you can see, the title of our first Level Up, the series that I'm taking for you today is Cornell Note Taking, and this is a very interesting session. I'm very excited to be here and teach this to you, and you will also be excited when you learn this, because you are going to find that today what we teach you, this skill is actually really going to help you. It's going to help you in your academic year. It's going to help you with your exams. It's even going to help you later in life. All right, so who is Cornell? Well, Cornell is a university. I will come to that. Okay, what is Cornell? Cornell is a university, Priya. Now, before I actually start talking to you about Cornell note taking, I want to ask you a question. Every time when we are in class, and in fact me included also, when I'm taking class for y'all, I keep telling you, please take notes, make sure you're making your own notes. And I'm sure that your teachers also say this to you in class, right? You have to take notes. Why is taking notes so important? I mean, why do we need to take notes? As a student, sometimes we feel, at least I used to feel this when I was your age. I used to feel, I'm very lazy to take notes. I don't want to take notes because I have the textbook. I'll just read from the textbook only. Why do I need to take notes? Now, can you tell me why is note taking important? Yes, exam के लिए prepare करना. Yes, your notes help you to prepare for your exams. We should take notes to study effectively and revise easily. Very good, absolutely right. Ananya says to make learning easy. Very, very good. Shalini says to remember more clearly. Very good. Manasvi says to prepare. Absolutely. I see a comment over that says it makes us listen as we need to summarize it and take notes. Very, very good. So I'm going to quickly give you 3 points as to why it is important to take notes, and then you will understand why we as teachers, me included, keep telling you, take your notes. Okay, so first of all, taking notes is so important because taking notes helps us to learn actively. What does this mean? This means that it helps us to be more engaged in the class. Supposing your teacher is giving you a very long and technical definition, okay? She's telling you the definition of light. Now, if you're not taking notes, there is a chance that you might forget it. But do you know that researchers say that when we're actually writing our own notes, it helps our brain to remember better. So when we're learning actively, there is less of a chance that we're going to forget what we have learned in class. So in that sense, it helps us to learn more actively. Sai says it also improves speed. Absolutely right. Okay. I always make notes at every chapter from Byju's, the learning app, and the best part is I love to take notes. Excellent, Papiya. Now, another reason why taking notes is very, very important is that notes help us to be more attentive in class. What does this mean? I remembered something very funny. Why I said attentive is because when, again, I told you I used to not like to take notes in class until I realized that it was so important. I remember that sometimes when I was in class and the lecture was going on long and long and long, and I used to feel so sleepy. You know what I used to be thinking of? I used to say, now after this period of mine, or after this class of mine, there is a lunchtime. Ooh, you know what? My mother has packed gulab jamuns for me in my tiffin. Or sometimes, oh, you know what? I'm going to the mall with my friends. After this, it's going to be so much fun. So what, has this ever happened to you that you're in class, okay, and you're thinking of something completely different? You're thinking of what you're going to wear for a party, you're thinking of what you're going to do after class, you're thinking of what you're going to eat for breakfast or for lunch or whatever it is. Has it ever happened to you? Give me a thumbs up if it's happened to you. This has definitely happened to me before when I'm sitting in a class and I'm just thinking of something completely different. As Nipa says, yes, sometimes, ma'am. Yes, a lot of people say, hi, ma'am. Correct. So, this happens to a lot of people. So, I'm telling you that means what? That instead of being in the class, we are on a completely different planet, no? So, if we take notes, it will help us to stop dreaming and daydreaming, and it will help us to focus in class and be more attentive in class. See, so many people are showing me thumbs up, which means this is a very common thing. Okay, then notes also help us to know what to prioritize. What does this mean? This means that sometimes before the exams, we are panicking. Ma'am, what should I learn? Ma'am, what are the keywords? Ma'am, what are the main ideas? I get so many questions over here. Ma'am, but what are the main things that I should learn? So, at this point in time, when revision needs to go at a very fast speed, obviously we cannot take out the whole textbook and be sitting and going through the whole textbook, right? So, if we have written notes in class, these notes are going to help us to put down the main ideas. And if you have the main ideas, then you know exactly what is important, you know exactly what to prioritize. So in that sense, it makes learning much, much easier, and it shows you what to pay attention to. Right? And this is why I say that note taking is very, very important. Right? Now, I also want to tell you that there are a lot of ways to take notes, okay? And people take notes in different ways. Some people sit and write every single thing that the teacher is telling them, and that becomes very, very long. Some people draw mind maps for themselves. Some people use the outline method. Some people use flowchart method. So many methods can be used. But what I'm trying to ask you over here is that, is there some method that is supposed to be the most efficient method of taking notes? Something that will help us to take the notes, organize the notes, as well as revise and review them later. Is there some method like this? Do you know? Well, yes, Aradhya says the Cornell method system is for taking, organizing and reviewing notes. Absolutely right. I think you've done your homework and come for this summer camp. Okay, very good. Absolutely right. There is a method that is supposed to be one of the most efficient methods of taking notes. That is the Cornell note-taking method. Right? Cornell note-taking method, let me tell you, is very, very efficient. Why? Number one, Cornell note-taking method has a little bit of all the other methods in it. So it includes a little bit of diagrams, a little bit of charts, it includes a little bit of the outline method, right? It includes the main ideas of what you're putting down. Apart from that, Cornell note-taking method doesn't require much preparation, you know. Just one simple sheet of paper if you have, automatically if you know how to take the notes, you can take the notes. Okay? And the best part about Cornell note-taking system is that the Cornell note-taking system can be used whether you're listening to a lecture in class with your teacher. It can be used if you're watching a YouTube video. It can be used if you're reading a newspaper article. It can even be used if you are a working professional and you're attending a client meeting and taking notes. So you see, this skill that we're going to teach you today, the Cornell note-taking method, is a very, very important skill, no matter which field of life that you are in. Whether you are a student or whether you are a working professional, which I know that once you all finish your studies, you are going to be. So this is a skill that is going to come in use. Now, who devised the Cornell note-taking method? The Cornell note-taking method was devised by Professor Walter Pock of Cornell University. So a lot of people said, what is Cornell? What is Cornell? Cornell is a university, all right? And this Professor Walter Pock, he devised this note-taking system as early as the 1950s. So, which means that this system has been around and it has been proven to be successful for so many years, and which is why I say it's a very important skill to have, right? I see some of you are already saying that that I make notes through the Cornell note-taking method. Very good, Krish. It's an excellent method to use, okay? All right. So, Cornell note-taking method is the best method to use, and today we're going to tell you how does Cornell note-taking method effectively help you to prepare for your exams. You know, right now the board exams are going on, right, for the 10th standard students, and we keep getting questions as to, ma'am, how to study, how to study, how to study. So I'm saying, if you learn this very important skill, you will find your exams easy peasy, right? So I'm going to show you how you can do this, and I'm going to go ahead and explain what the notes look like, and I'm going to explain the process, and we will do it together as an example, through an example, and this way we will learn how to go ahead with this. Okay, all right, now let us first talk about the structure of the Cornell notes. Now, Cornell notes structure means what does the what do the notes look like? So if you take a glance at the page over here, this is what the structure of the notes looks like. It's so simple, and this is why I said it doesn't require any preparation. There are three main areas that are required for this method of note taking, right? The strategy involves learners dividing their page with a row across at the bottom. Absolutely right, Aradhya. So I will explain it to you. There are three important sections over here. One is for the notes. This is the notes column over here. One is for the keywords or the comments or even the cues, what you call the cues. This is our cues section over here, okay? And one is for the summary, and this is our summary section over here. Now, as you can see, the column for the notes is approximately 70% of the page, which means it's a larger column than the cues column. The cues column, as you can see, is only 30%, which means that the left-hand side column, that of the cues, is narrower, and this one is a wider column, right? And the summary, that requires just approximately 5-6 lines, okay? Now, another thing that you can do is you can have an additional section over here. This is an optional section for the title. This is not compulsory in the Cornell notes, but I generally like to put it because I feel sometimes when you're looking through your notes later, it's very easy to find your notes if you have the title written right on the top, right? Or the chapter name written right on the top. Okay, now very quickly, before I explain how to take these notes, let me just explain exactly what goes into each of these three sections, as in what goes into the notes section, what goes into the cues section, and what goes into the summary section. So the notes section is what we are doing during the class, okay? So which means this is taken when the teacher is explaining things to us during the class. Let me put this for you in a different color, okay? During class, here. This happens during class, right? Now, what is it that we are supposed to put in this notes column during class? Well, in this, we are putting anything and everything that the teacher tells us, okay, the important points. So whatever the teacher is telling us in class, we have to put those main points down into the notes section. Main points. How will you put the main points? I saw a message over there to say that we should be putting it in bullet points. Absolutely right. We put it in bullet points. Okay, so the main points that will go into bullet points, and then you try and leave space between one topic and another. Right? This is very, very important, and this is the section, like I said, that you're going to be filling during class. Okay, I will explain how to do it. Okay, we'll do it together so you will understand this. Clear? Then, what do we put into the cues section? Well, the cues section we are putting in, I will tell you, one second, I'll write it for you in another color so you can see this. In the cues section, we are going to be filling in this column soon after class. Right, which means this, we finish the notes in the during the class. Immediately after the class, we'll be putting in the cues section. What will go into this section? In this section, we will have important questions, we will have vocabulary words, we can have main ideas, we can have names of people, right? What is the meaning of cues? Cues means hints. So this column is used to help us to study later. It is helps us to review the notes later. And then we have the summary section. The summary section I'm going to put for you in a completely different color. Summary section is done soon after class also, and this happens maybe a day after. So here what are you doing? You're putting in a short few lines about the notes. So if you understand this method, okay, what is happening over here is that the cue section is also being taken from the notes, and the short few lines, that is the summary, is also being taken from the notes. So the notes are happening during the class, the cue section and the summary section comes later, right? Okay, now I've told you the basic structure and the components. Let's go ahead and let's understand the process of Cornell note taking, right? Ma'am, should we write in horizontal or vertical form? You should write in the form that I showed you, exactly the way that the structure is. There should be 2 columns. So that is the way you need to write. Your writing will be in horizontal only, but the column is vertical. Ma'am, will there be another summer camp class? Absolutely. This is only for social subject, ma'am. Not necessary. This can be used for all subjects, no matter where you are. Like I said, even after you leave school, this method of learning can be used, right? Then subtitles also come in that wide section, right? Yes, subtitles can also come in the wide section. See, what you put in the notes section depends on you, because these notes are meant for you to study later. If you want to beautify the notes, you beautify the notes. If you want to just write them in bullet points, you write them in bullet points. You want to put it down in short form, you put it down in short form, as long as you can understand the short form later. That's the most important thing, right? Okay, now, Rishi, I'm not ignoring you. I love all of you, my students, but we're trying to learn right now, so the focus is that, and we can chat a little bit after we are done with today's session, okay? So I never ignore my students, at least not on purpose, right? Okay, now, what is the process of the Cornell note-taking method, okay? The process of the Cornell note-taking method is actually very cool. It helps us to focus on the 5 R's of note-taking. What are the 5 R's of note-taking? There is record, reduce, recite, reflect, and review. Okay, now before I go ahead, have you all understood the structure of the Cornell note so far? Give me a thumbs up if you understood what I've spoken to you about, how you need to divide your page. Come on. Tell me. Can be used for physical science. You can use it for anything you like. Come on, this is a very super method, man. Actually, it is. Yes, I can see a lot of thumbs ups coming up. Thank you, superb. So I know that you've understood this. Now we're going to talk about the process. As I said, that this is a method that helps us to focus on the 5 R's of note-taking. Record, reduce, recite, reflect, and review. But I am not going to explain each of these now. We're actually going to do something fun. We're going to understand how to use this method, Cornell method, and we're going to understand each of these 5 R's through an actual example, and we will understand what each of these is about, and we will also understand how to go ahead and take Cornell notes. So are you ready? Absolutely. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Are you ready to learn a new skill? Are you ready to grow and be able to use this skill later on in your life? Because like I said, this is a skill that you can use anywhere, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's understand how to take take notes like these. Okay, so let's understand the first R, which is record. Now, what is the meaning of the word record, right? There's a question here, ma'am, should we complete the Cornell notes in 1 page? If yes, then how can we complete it in 1 page if the notes don't fit in 1 page? No, Papiya, it's not necessary to have it in 1 page, absolutely. If you feel that you are more comfortable using 2 pages, so what you could do is take your notebook, and your notebook is open, like here you have 2 notebooks, maybe 2 pages, you could have 1 page for the cues section like this, and 1 page for the notes section like this, and this way you will have more place. So it is not necessary to do it in 1 page. You can do it as you feel. Okay, ma'am, can we write down notes from the book? Yes, absolutely, you can write down notes from the book, right? Okay, hi Astha, you wanted me to call your name. Hello. Okay, fine. Now let's understand what the word record means. The word record means, hey, you know what? The best example to give you is, have you ever been at a party and there's so much happening at the party, somebody's dancing, somebody's singing, and you want to record this. How do you record this? Well, immediately you take out your mobile camera and you say, ooh, this is fun, let me record it, right? So what are we doing in this situation? We are taking what is happening at the party and we are recording it on the camera, or we are recording it on a picture. Similarly, there is record for notes. Absolutely right, Yashika, you will take out your phone, right? Ma'am, if you have a big chapter, ma'am, it can't fit, then you'll have many pages for this, Sai. Okay? Do as it suits you. I've only explained the structure, but how many pages you need is really up to you. Okay, now how do you record the session? I mean, how do you use record in terms of note taking? Well, in terms of note taking, what are we doing? We are recording what is happening in class into our notebook, right? And that is how we are recording what the teacher is saying. So tell you what, let's do something fun. Let me show you how you can record from a text, or how you can record if your teacher is saying something. Now, as you can see over here, I have got a text, a big passage saying components of air. I'm going to read this passage for you, and then I'm going to show you how exactly we can make notes based on this. All right. Now, I'm quickly going to read it. You can also read it on screen, but I will quickly read it and then we will understand how to make the notes together. Okay. Now, hi Abhilasha, hi Riddhi. Okay. Yes, you can use this after your school ends. Absolutely, Ojas, you can do this. Okay. Ma'am, if we are in school, how can we take camera or mobiles? No, Chitra, I spoke about the camera or mobiles when you were in a party. When you are in school, Chitra, you will be recording your notes on paper. You will be recording what is happening in the class on paper. Okay. All right. Components of air. We all know that air surrounds us everywhere on this planet. One cannot imagine the existence of life without air. Ever wondered what air is made up of? Is it a mixture or a pure substance? In ancient times, the air was thought to be a pure substance, but was later found to be a mixture of many gases. The composition of air is not constant and changes from place to place. For example, in polluted areas, since emissions of carbon dioxide are very high over there, contains the higher percentage of carbon dioxide. The main components of air are explained below. Now, let's just take this paragraph that we have over here, which I have just read for you. Right? Now, what are the main points that we can take from this particular paragraph? So, we got over here, we all know that air surrounds us everywhere on this planet. One cannot imagine the existence of life without air. Ever wondered what air is made of? Is it a mixture or a pure substance? Then, ancient times, air was thought to be a pure substance, but later found to be a mixture of many gases. Right? So, what have we put based on this on the notes? We've said air is not a pure substance. It is a mixture of gases. You see, this bullet point has been taken from the passage. Then, the next thing talks about the composition of air. Composition of air is not constant and changes from place to place. So, we put composition of air changes from place to place. Right? Two main points, and we've covered this entire paragraph that you see over here. Right? Now, our next line over there talks about water vapor. We know that water vapor is present in oceans and rivers, evaporates during summer and escapes into the air. Thus, water vapor is one of the components of air. It occupies very less percentage of the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so what have we done for water vapor? We put it in points and we've said water vapor, it is the water that evaporates and escapes into air. It is very less percentage of air. Okay, then oxygen is the next gas that we're going to talk about, right? Oxygen. Have you ever tried to burn a candle in absence of air? If you would try, you would notice that it doesn't burn in the absence of air. Air contains some matter which supports combustion. Combustion means burning. The substance is oxygen. Oxygen is one of the major components of air around us. Air and comprises about 21% oxygen. So again, what have we put the main points? Oxygen, component of air, supports burning, 21% of air. You see, we've taken the whole sentence and we have put it into the main points over here, right? Ma'am, should we make mind maps in the summary section? No, if you want, you could make a mind map in the notes section. Don't make a mind map in the summary section. The summary should just be a few lines about what the notes is about. Okay, then nitrogen. When you blow a burning candle over here, can you notice that it extinguishes? This means that air contains incombustible gases. Gases which don't support combustion. This is majorly due to the presence of nitrogen. Nitrogen occupies nearly 78% of the Earth's atmosphere. So what have I done with this point over here? I've put it as nitrogen, major part of air that does not support burning, 78% of air. You see what I've done? I've just taken the main ideas and I've put it. Now, I'm not going to do this about about carbon dioxide. I'm not going to do this about smoke and dust particles. You've got an idea of how to put the main points, right? Quickly, can you tell me? You can make the same kind of notes with arrows and bullet points. Absolutely right, you can do this. Yeah, Hemlata, the screen is a blur to read. That's why I read it out for you, right? Okay, ma'am, where should we draw diagrams? You can draw diagrams in your notes section, right? Okay, now I want to know, have you understood how to take the main points from your passage and put it down? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up quickly, so we know that we've understood this. Come on. Yes, Yashika says it's clear. Okay, super, very nice. Okay, now we've put the main points over here. So we've recorded what has happened in class in the notes section. Next, the next R is reduce. Reduce means we have to make it smaller. Now, we've already made it smaller by putting it into the notes section. Now, we have to make it even smaller. How? By filling in the cues section, right? So, I told you earlier that we write the cues section and we take it from the notes, right? So, what have I done over here? In the cues section, you will write any questions that you think will come from your exam. So, into your exam, or any question that will probably can be asked from the notes. So for example, let's take the first point. Air is not a pure substance, mixture of gases. So what is the question that we've made with this? Is air a pure substance, right? Or composition of air changes from place to place. So we put a question to say, is the composition of air constant? Now like this, we put down two questions. What are the other questions that you can think of based on these notes? Come on, tell me. Tell me, what are the other points that you can put down over here? I've got two questions from the notes, right? I want you to come up with another question that you can think of. Like for example, I could think of another question that says, which is the component of air that supports burning? That question could be put down over there. Or, yes, absolutely right. Is air a mixture? Sajan, absolutely correct. This is a question that could be put into your cues section. What else? Does oxygen support burning? Absolutely right. This is a question that could go on, right? Okay, so you've understood. How is water vapor made? Very good, Aradhya. Abhishek Kumar, what would happen if there would be no air? You guys are fabulous. You all have completely understood what to do. Super. So this is the way you ask questions from the notes. You put down the questions. Apart from this, in the cue section, you also can put down vocabulary. So for example, you could write down the meaning of combustion. Now you know the meaning of combustion is burning. So you could put over there, combustion means burning. Right? You could put that down. Or you could put down important terms like composition of air, gases that support and do not support burnings. See, this cues section is basically used for us to study later. Cues means hints. So we are putting hints for ourselves so we can study later. Now, your note section is done. Your cues section is done. Next, you have to write your summary section. Now, the summary section will also come from the notes, right? Ma'am, if I don't complete in everything in class, what do I do? Well, that's why I said you have to complete only your notes in class. Your cue and your summary section will be filled after class. So you don't have to worry about that during class time, right? Okay. Now, should the questions be only 1 mark? Hemlata says, not necessary, Hemlata. It could be a question that has a longer answer also. It's not necessary that it's only a 1 mark question. Can we write answers directly or make another column? No, the beauty of this method is that you don't need to write the answers directly. Here you're only putting in your questions, okay? Then you will use these questions to study later, okay? The answers are already over here. So if you see the breakup, this is where the questions are and this is where the answers are. So you have the question and answer side by side. Isn't that a beautiful organized way of learning, right? Okay, now we've put the summary. For summary, very quickly, I've just put 3-4 lines over there that gives us a gist of what we've learned Air is composed of 99% oxygen and nitrogen. Remaining 1% is constituted by carbon dioxide and a few other gases and water vapor. Water vapor is formed through the evaporation of air. Oxygen supports burning, but nitrogen does not. Plants and animals produce carbon dioxide. The presence of dust particles in air varies from time to time, and from place to place it is harmful as well. The presence of water vapor in air is important for the water cycle in nature. So you see, I have taken from the notes, I've just made the notes, I've reduced it into just 5-6 lines. Now, why is the summary necessary? Can anyone tell me why a summary is necessary? Well, logically, yes, summary is the conclusion of notes. Absolutely right. But apart from this, summary will actually help us to find information later, right? So sometimes when we've got lots of notes and later on we want to go through the notes, the summary will actually, when we read the summary section, we will be able to say, ah, this is what in this notes. No, now I don't need this. I'll come to this later. Or, oh yes, this is the summary I was looking for. These are the notes that I have to go through. So summary helps you. Absolutely right, gamer Sat. It helps you to get a quick glance, makes it easy to revise. Absolutely right. Okay. Okay, so this is the second R, which is reduce. The third R that we're going to talk about is recite. You know what recite is? You know what recite reminds me of? When we were in school, our teachers used to tell us, come on, recite aloud. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. And we used to keep reciting this. They used to tell us, recite your nursery rhymes. And then we used to recite our nursery rhymes. And the recitation used to help us to memorize it. So when we recite, it helps us with our memory. So this is the part that is going to help us to study. So how can you use your Cornell notes to study? How can you use your Cornell notes to ace your exams? Well, now I've already shown you that all three sections are filled in. We've got the notes section complete. We've got the cues section complete, and we've got the summary section complete, right? Now, yes, recitation helps to remember things for long times. Absolutely. We need to read the notes after making. Absolutely. Recite means to read again. Yes, and to say aloud. Recite also means to say aloud, right? So now how do we learn from this? So this is a very interesting method. As you can see, the cues column and the notes column are side by side. So what you need to do is, when you're studying or you're reciting, you need to use a paper, and I'm going to do this with pen because I cannot cover this for you with paper. You need to take a paper and you need to, I'm sorry for being untidy, but basically I'm trying to tell you that you have to cover this section. So it has to be a situation where you cannot see your notes at all. Okay? Can you see this? I'm sorry for being untidy. Okay, but I just want to tell you that you have to keep a paper over the notes section so you cannot see the notes section at all. Okay, now what will you do? How will you recite? You will ask yourself the question. So you will ask yourself a question. Is air a pure substance? And what will you answer? Is air a pure substance? Come on, come on, come on. Is air a pure substance? What is written in our notes? Is air a pure substance? Yashika says no, and that is the correct answer. And that answer is found in this place over here. Air is not a pure substance. Again, you will cover your notes and you will ask yourself the next question. Is the composition of air constant? And the answer to this will again be no, the composition of air is not constant. It is a mixture, and the answer is found over here. Similarly, you will ask yourself other questions. Which gas supports burning? Oxygen supports burning. How much percentage of oxygen is found in the air? The answer is 21%. You see, so this way we've covered our notes section, we've asked ourselves the question, and we are saying the answer aloud. We are reciting the answer, which will help us with our memory. So this is how we study from our Cornell notes. Okay, right, everyone says 21. So Sai says, so we need to make this notes for every question or every chapter. Basically, Sai says, see, you need to make these notes for every chapter, okay? And then the questions are the questions that you think could possibly come in the exam. right? From your notes. So what I did just now was I went through line by line with you, and then I said, okay, now I've read this line, okay, what question can I form from this? Or I've read this line, what question can I form from this? Try and come up with as many questions as you can, right? Okay, now we've learned how to recite. We've covered 3 R's. Record, that is how to take the notes. Reduce, that is to scrunch it up into the cue section and the summary section, and to recite. Next, important R is to reflect. What is the meaning of reflect? Reflect means to think, right? So you need to think about what is written in your notes. You need to think about the significance of the facts, and you can think about how you can apply it. Okay, how does what I have learned in these notes help me in my daily life? So let's take the significance of the fact that air burns, okay, oxygen burns. What is the significance of the fact that oxygen burns? Can you tell me? Why is it important, or why is it necessary for us that oxygen burns? How does it help us? How does it help us? Come on. How does oxygen burning help us? Well, there are lots of ways that oxygen burning helps us, right? Oxygen burning helps us to generate electricity. Oxygen burning helps us to drive our cars and motorbikes. Oxygen helps us, absolutely right, Lalit, to cook food. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So this is how oxygen helps us. So what am I doing? I'm thinking about what I've taken from my notes, and I'm seeing how can I use this in my daily life. Similarly, you can do this for all the gases, right? So how is it significant for us that carbon dioxide is taken in by the plants? Well, and that oxygen is given out by the plants. Why? It's important because it helps us to breathe, right? So this is really, really important for us to know. We're thinking about what is happening, and this is reflect. Then we move into the last R, which is review. Now, what does review mean? Review means review, which means to view again, which means to revise. Okay, ma'am, should we make notes in a ruled notebook or non-ruled notebook? Well, I always, there's no rule for a ruled or non-ruled notebook, but I would prefer to take in a ruled notebook because it keeps it, you know, in writing in a straight line much easier. Right? Ma'am, should we learn loudly or in our mind? It doesn't really matter. I feel sometimes when we say it loudly, it helps us to remember better. But if you're more comfortable saying it in your mind, it's absolutely right. Pammi says, read, learn, revise and recite. Absolutely true. Ma'am, where can we note extra information later? You can put it into the Q section, Sajan. That's what the Q section is meant for, to put in the important stuff later. Right? Okay, now, this is the review part. Now, most people tend to review or revise notes only when the exam is near. Oh, now it's my exams. Now I have to review my notes. I have to revise. Okay, that's good. You need to revise your notes before the exam. But I would suggest that you should review your notes every single week, at the end of every week. How will this help you? See, we know that in class, never does it's very rare, especially as we go higher and higher into our academic years, the teacher does not finish the whole lesson only in one class or one period, right? So very often she says, okay, now we will stop because the bell has rung. Now we will continue this in the next period or in the next time. Right? So then what do? If you've got these notes, what you do is you go through it at the end of the week on a Saturday or a Sunday. So by the time you are getting into Monday, you know exactly what the teacher has done before, and it'll help you to understand what comes after. So if you understand what this review process is doing, is actually acting like a bridge between what has happened before and what is going to come later, and this way you will understand what has happened in class much better. Okay, all right, so this brings us to the end of what Cornell note taking is about. Now I want to quickly ask you, have you understood the method? Is it clear for you? Have you understood how to make the notes? Will you use this Cornell note taking method? Come on, come on, come on. I want to see your answers before I go. Ma'am, can we make notes of every topic of chapter on a separate page? Absolutely, Yashika, if that works for you, absolutely right. My teacher tells me to revise every day, ma'am. Yes, it's always a good thing. But I'm saying that if you do that, that's very, very good. But sometimes we lose track of time. So you can do it at the end of the week. Yes, 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 ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Nagendra says, I'm literally confused whenever I go to make notes. I think that thing is lost somewhere, but doesn't matter. My point is that if you make your notes this way, you will find things much more clear, because Cornell note-taking method helps us to take notes, organize notes, as well as the reviewing of notes. Right? And this is all about the Cornell system. Surely I will use it in my class after this vacation. Superb. But can we decorate our notes, Sumit? Of course you can, but it is not a necessity to decorate the notes. Absolutely not. Eventually they are your notes. So whatever helps you to study, if you feel like it's going to help you to study and you have the time, decorate your notes. But it is not necessary, right? As long as you can understand the short forms you've put, as long as you can understand the charts you've put, as long as you can understand the mind maps that you've put, because these notes are meant for you, right? Then it doesn't matter. Okay, whenever I go through my notes, it looks like the teacher is actually in front of me and teaching. Yeah, that's the point, right? You're recording what has happened in class. So the same way that you take a video camera, this way you're recording what is there into your notebook. So that's actually the purpose of note taking, and that means that you're taking good notes. Well done. Ma'am, can I make notes in any other way? Of course, Mayank, there are so many ways to make notes. You can use outlines, maps, mind maps, anything. But I'm telling you that this method is one of the best methods, and it is recommended as one of the most efficient methods, because it takes into account or uses all other methods in it, and it's actually much easier to revise and study from these notes, and that is how you will ace your exam, right? So I would recommend this one, and which is why in the summer vacation we've wanted to teach you this, because your academic year will start very soon. So then you should be able to use this new skill that you've learned over here at BYJU'S Summer Camp. Okay, so now this is it for today. I've had a lovely time. Like I said, I love summer. I love all the aspects of summer, and I love summer vacation too, and I love the summer camp, and I'm so excited that I'm here with you today and we're spending our summer together. Right? So I'm going to see you very soon, and then in one of the next Level Up series. Till then, adios, goodbye.